Hello, today I'm going to show you how I make some pages using the templates from Creative Memories. I just got the Sunshine template this week, and I'm going to show you what I do from start to finish. The first thing I do is I take my template and I trace it onto just some white cardstock here. And the reason why I do that is I make some notes about maybe measurements, about the square, like this is a 2 7/8 inch square, which is helpful. It's 5 inches along the base there. I also check to see if my Creative Memories circles fit, and they do, which is fantastic. So I measured, and this is the small red one, and this is the small green one, medium green, medium blue. Of course, I'm referring to these blades. And so that's really helpful too if you want to do a circle background or help cut out some of your photos. So I do that first for all of my templates. And the shape I'm going to use today is this diamond type shape here. And I traced 2 of them in black. And I like using the Leah France dry erase markers. You could probably use any markers. And they come in different colors. So that's really helpful to trace what you want to see, because there's so many different little pieces of plastic here, it can get confusing. So I do that next. And then the next thing I do is I take my photos, which are all snow photos here, and I just put them underneath, because it's going to kind of depend on, the orientation and to see what looks best where. So then I take it and I put it under here, and oh, that looks good. For this one, make sure that the template doesn't go off your photo, and you can kind of just put it where you think it looks good. And then I use the Creative Memories photo labeling pencil. Make sure it's not too sharp, and if you push too hard, if it's too sharp, it will indent your photo. So kind of keep a blunt end there. And all I do, since these are straight lines, I just make a little mark there and a little mark here, kind of do the edges, and you have the white side in case you have a really dark photo, which I've used before too. And then I just trace that. To cut it, I just use my paper trimmer here, and I just line it up, and you can cut on right on the line if you want to, or you can cut just past the line. As long as you're consistent, because again, this does take up a little bit of room. And you just line up your paper trimmer on those 2 marks and cut, and then turn, and you continue to do the same thing. Very easy. Before I actually cut them though, I do lay out all my photos to make sure that they're going to fit. Like this one would not fit very well in that spot, but would fit really good in that spot. So I go through with all of them. It kind of, like that one fits really good in this spot because it's oriented up and down there like that. So you want to go through, figure out where you're going to put all your photos, and then go mark them and trim them. As soon as you trim them, you want to take a cloth. I use the Creative Memories cloth here, and just wipe off any remaining marks that you might have on your photo that are going to show. So you want to do that right away. I've already cut out all of my photos. So I will show you that layout. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention, and I'll mention it in just a second here. I also use these clear plastic sheets. They're 12 by 12. They're from Leah France. They're fantastic, heavy quality, and very reasonable. And that's what I'm showing you now with all my photos laid out on it. Fantastic, because you can just pick up your layout and put it on different sheets of paper, or you can kind of line it up here and see how it looks. So once I lay it out here, fix them all, see, yep, I like that. Wanted to point out that these big squares are symmetric, but these little pieces are not. So be very careful you're tracing the correct piece. In other words, if I take this piece and I try to put it here, you can see it's not exactly the same shape, and it's not going to overlay. So that will make a difference in your layout. So you want to make sure you have made up your mind before you cut. Every other one is exactly the same, and every other one here is exactly the same. Okay, so after I do that, I also cut some squares too. I think I want to add some squares, but I really like that star design or snowflake design. Once you do that, you can try different papers. Here are my squares. I think I'll add those in. So you can make that design too. I did like the star just kind of by itself. Lots of different papers you can try. Creative Memories makes a fresh fusion rainbow set that goes perfectly with this too. You can see it goes right under the template and fits very nicely. Lines up perfectly. So there's options like that where you have some printing on it. Another one is, here I'll show you, is the Love Wins collection. So this has a little bit of a pattern, but not too busy. I like that to go underneath some of the layouts. So you can use this plastic sheet just to try different papers to see what you like the best. And what I've decided on, I haven't quite 100% decided, but I really like this dark blue. That looks really nice with the snow. And I'm also debating about this snowflake vellum. That looks really pretty too. So once you decide, then you can go ahead and tape them down. The repositionable tape works fantastic for those. The other layout I'm doing for the other page is from the Slices of Life. And with the Slices of Life template, I also traced that and showed that, again, you can use the jumbo circle, the green and the red blades work perfectly for those circles. And I have a little bit of a layout here too of just the inner pieces. So I haven't decided exactly what else to do, but once I picked out those photos, I think I'm going to use the same dark blue paper. Slide that under here, and I've got some printed paper that matches nicely that says snow days and so on that I may cut to go in some of the other pieces. And Center Stage is another one that they have that I'm not using today, but again, I did the same thing. Lots of different circles will work. I also have some dies that work for these circles too. So that is a great way to get started on laying out your photos. So I decided to go ahead and use that vellum. So I turned it over to draw on the other side since I'm just doing triangles. And I cut out all 4 of them. Haven't attached anything yet, just doing the basic layout. So I make a hinge and I use repositionable tape just to hold it down. I also put a little bit of repositionable tape on the back of the blue cardstock so it would stay in one spot on the table. And of course, I'm using repositionable tape to tape down all of the pieces. The vellum is harder to attach because I didn't want the adhesive to show, so I cut some glue dots in half. Sometimes I rolled them up a little bit smaller even and put them in the center of some of the snowflakes. And then I attached some embellishments to the center of the snowflakes there to cover up that adhesive. And that's pretty much it. This was fairly quick to put together.